All right. Hi, everyone. I am Nicolette Souter, creator of Wilder Child and Wild Schooling. And I am here with Alexandria King. And she is, uh, for me, like when I encountered her work, I just felt an instant connection and just knew that I wanted to learn more about her and her work. She is creator and author of The Moon in You, a period book for girls. So this is a topic. Hi, Alexandria. Thank you so much for coming on.
So happy to be here.
um, so this is a topic that has always been near and dear to my heart, and something that I feel a lot of people can relate to. How this is just not a subject that our society does well. And I had always wished that I had the guidance that is presented in your book. And so I would love for you to just start off by telling me, how did you, like, tell me your journey to writing this book? Because basically inside of it, it says all the things that I wish that I had known when I was young and going through these changes. And so I just feel like it just struck just the perfect chord. So how did you even get to this point where you're like, this is what I'm going to write about. This is what I'm going to bring into the world.
Yeah. Well, when I was 19, I started a women's sexuality magazine, and I had this, that feeling you kind of bring with you into the world where you're like, this is the thing I need to do. I really needed to help women with education and sexual violence and things like this. So, and I had my daughter really young. So I ran this magazine in Toronto for like 7 years, and then we moved to Salt Spring Island. And we left all of our stuff, and I left the magazine, and I was just sort of like going inward with my daughter, and I could see that there was a lot of like untrue information that needed resolving, like really basic stuff before you even get to sexuality.
Yes.
In myself, and she was like 11 when we moved, so I thought, for myself to clear this and to teach her for that to be clear in her, I'd start that process. So it was a really long process of going through each subject and like taking what I needed from it and getting rid of what didn't feel right, and then learning the pieces that I needed to learn, and then mirroring that to my daughter and getting that.
Oh, I'm sorry, you dropped out for 1 second, but yes, I got
Okay.
the
You
feedback.
got it.
Like at the end, like you're mirroring and getting the feedback. I love that this is rooted in your relationship with her, and it's really about the both of you. I think that's so beautiful. I think some of the best like work, like creative work, is done in relationship and in communication. So, and that really, really comes out in the book.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
and so, help us kind of shift our paradigm around periods. Like, what is missing? I mean, I could think of a million things that were missing for me, but what is missing, like a fundamental thing about how we talk and support our girls around this issue?
I think there's a lot of mistrust around, like, and I think maybe just honesty needs to come up around the subject, because there's a lot of things we don't know, and parents are supposed to know everything, but we don't know everything. Everything was kind of kept in the dark for a long time, especially around women's wounds and women's health and women's bodies, and that created sort of like an unhealthy relationship internally. And then how do you talk to your daughter when you're supposed to know everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So taking away the mystery by being like sharing personal stories, and also um, any stories of your family, because there's a lot of ancestral clearing we're doing at the same time, and and they can hear it. Our daughters can totally hear if we're not being genuine, or if there's pain behind our words, or like whatever it is, it's all there, even if we're not saying it. So yeah, honesty. Mm.
So beautiful, this idea of not coming from an authoritarian perspective, like coming from, the mystery of it.
Yeah, well, and also, like, we're always discovering new things. We can't be an authority. We can't know everything. And so if you're not opening up that dialogue to just be like, "I'm not sure, let me see," then what's the conversation really gonna be like?
Ooh, I love that too because it kind of frames this as a journey as opposed to something that it's just like, here's the facts, here's what happens to you, and it will
Mhm,
be the same every single cycle. And
mhm,
that's not true because closer to the truth is that this is something that is going to change with you as you change. It's like a reflection and a conversation with yourself as you
yeah,
grow and your environment. And there's so many things that impact, um, flow and just how we experience it every month. So I think that really speaks to this idea of not like, okay, here, I know everything, and now I'm just going to be, teaching you exactly how it's going to be.
mm, yeah,
So much more empowering. And I think it creates a trust. So for me, that conversation,
especially yeah.
yeah, having it be deeper and more complex to reflect what's actually going on.
Yeah,
Um,
and it can be really exposing or, like women can feel nervous or stuff like that. You have to make it a softer conversation because of the topic, right?
mhm,
Yeah.
right. And then that when it's not just the talk, I know I was reading this about, how you approach too, like our society tends to think about it as the talk is one talk.
Yeah, that's
That's it. But
that's funny.
from your perspective, it really feels more like, again, like a journey, like something you're constantly revisiting, like the spiral, and you're
Mhm.
knowing it's becoming new and new every time
Mhm.
you visit it.
Yeah, and, like, learning about, as she's getting older and as she does have her period in her cycle, I mean, you're talking about your whole cycle, all cycle,
Mm,
how you're feeling approaching it, how it was, how you're coming out of it, how you're going into it. And, like, those conversations have to do with our relationships, like, are
mm.
we upset? How are we feeling right conversations? So, yeah, it's kinda everyday talk.
Yes, every day, and I like that too, how it's not this giant buildup, or it's not just like this event that just suddenly spontaneously just happens. And then because it makes itself known, then you, like, in a very intense way, you suddenly then feel like that's the right time to talk about it.
Mm.
It very much is, um, yeah, this thing that is flowing through the entire cycle. Like it exists all the time. It's not like this thing that just suddenly happens within. And so that's something that just even it's even though I think about it like that now, it's still very hard because of my conditioning to not see it as just a singular event.
Mm.
It hits me and is gone. And I think that takes a lot of attention and intentional kind of touch points, which is what you guide people through.
Yeah, I mean, we're not in a perfect world yet, so there's gonna be a constant need for this conversation.
We're not? Oh, come
No,
on.
not yet. We're such a long way. There's no way that any of us are gonna be feeling like we've got it. This is it. Like, maybe sometimes. You know how, like, once every maybe 3 months or 1 year or something, you're like, "Ooh, I really got it today."
Yeah,
You know,
this is like
sometimes.
the middle of my cycle when all my energy is high. Or like right after my morning cup
Yeah,
of coffee.
exactly. When everything's good.
Ever evolving, ever shifting. But our society's not good with that though. I mean, it's all about, right? Like definitive things like you've mastered this, you've got this, you've got the A, you have gathered all the data, you are done, you have graduated. It's these huge milestones. And so we tend to not think about it in these incremental, ever changing flow. It's just not, it's not in our culture. Sorry, you went out a little
You just
bit.
cut out for a second. It was just catching up. It's okay. It's all right.
No, that's okay. I don't know. I think we froze up a little bit. I was just saying that it's not culturally, that's really, you know, the way we deal with periods is it's a cultural thing also
Yeah,
of
it's the way
our
we deal
culture
with
to not.
feminine everything, for sure.
Yes,
Yeah, that's why it's
yes,
hard to focus
absolutely.
on it solely because we're still in a patriarchy. How do we focus solely on something in the opposite direction? That's why we're all doing it slowly, like we're all making an effort to try so hard to bring this huge rock up a hill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's going to take everyone because there's been so much shame that it is a collective shaming, and it's going to take one person, and you know, more, you have to look around and see other people are doing it, and then there's that shared collective strength that we'll get from each other. And this book just brings it into the light. It is a shame lifter, and it is so powerful. um, I basically buy one for everyone that I see. I'm like, man, woman, child, you get a copy of this book because it really is one of those foundational books that like it lays the foundation for everything that comes after. So I think I've used the word journey a lot because that's just the word that really resonates with me when I'm reading the book. And as a rite of passage, how can we build more of a rite of passage around a girl's first experience with this?
I think you kind of just you are where you are when it hits. Um, I think of the rite of passage like, it's part of the relationship you have with her, and it's about her comfort levels. So if she's like, if you've had a conversation and you introduce the fact that like maybe you could celebrate it somehow,
Mm,
maybe you could celebrate it with friends or with trusted people. Like, what do they think about that? Maybe they need to try on the idea a little bit, or if they're uncomfortable with that, do they want it to just be you and her, or just like immediate family type thing? Or is that too weird? Or does she need to sort of sit with that for like a month or two? Because like the more conversation you can have around it, the more she can be like, oh, maybe that would be fun, right?
mm,
And but if you don't bring in the ideas ahead of time, you're just kind of like hitting her all at once, and she may not be ready for that. So you just want to talk about it more and introduce ideas and see what she can come up with, and sort of just like get her imagination going with it. Like, ooh, wouldn't hey, like what would you like? What about this? Like would be what do you think, That kind of thing.
yes, that's great advice because it's hard to go from where we are in our culture to all of a sudden having like this
Mhm.
complex and ornate and deep
Yeah.
passage.
And
It's hard to bridge into that
and
from
I
where we're
think
at.
moms really do like we want so much to pass on this thing that we may not have yet ourselves. Like we
Okay.
want so much for everything to be healed
Yeah.
and for us to be able to give this thing. And then we're like, "Oh, well, we'll just do this like huge party and it'll just then I'll somehow like my excitement for you will just like be passed on through this big bang."
Mm,
But it's slow, right? It still has to happen here. And I think that's why women have to consider how they would want their period celebrated. Like we sort of have to take on those experiences and sort of try them on ourselves. And then we can be like, in a more honest way, like without judgment, what do you think about this?
mm.
Right?
So wise. Yes, that what you said. Yes, that is so wise. Like we try to force that healing too fast or think that this grand gesture is going to just suddenly like heal that wound or make things right, or and we're so desperate to do things differently. I think that characterizes like our
Yeah.
generation. And
Yeah,
it's
totally.
great. It's good to do things different, but to go slow is a really wise, really important thing to align with, like energy to align with around this, because it's sensitive, because ancestrally what we're carrying, but also just within the relationships that we're in. So beautiful reminder in terms of
Mhm.
how we want to shift it, and to be curious and to be playful and to
Mhm.
try things, and okay, that didn't work, maybe this will work, or maybe we want to do it this way, maybe we want to, you don't need to celebrate it like right away or acknowledge it, maybe you want to wait till there's a
Yeah,
more comfortable season or till it feels
totally
right.
flexible for sure. And like not just having one celebration. You can just consider that like it's an open-ended invitation to
Mm.
celebrate in the new ways that you feel more adept to as things go.
Yes, that's really good. These are great reminders for me because I tend to be like a party person, like, yes, we're gonna celebrate this, a monumental thing. And it is so beautiful to have it be more of like a ritual and a touch point for a connection, like an
Mhm.
invitation, like what you said. So
So
so beautiful. So so having done all this and now nurturing this connection with your daughter, if there was one thing you could go back and tell your young self, um, about this whole process and experience, what would you tell her? Like something you'd wish that you had.
when I was young,
Mhm. About about periods and about going through this type of cyclical expression, I'll call
yeah.
it.
I think for me, I wasn't given anything really. So it wasn't
Mm,
just that that I would need to know something about periods. I think I would just need to know that I was beautiful as
mhm.
like my nature was beautiful, just the nature of me. And I feel like I would have covered a lot of that space.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that, because I think, and I've heard this from many, many, many women of our generation, that fear around our sexuality, fear around just our bodies
mm,
and what would be done to our bodies or what our bodies would do. It was so heavy and so present.
yeah.
That's like a second self, like laid onto to ourselves.
Mhm.
And so that fear, I think that if you don't work through that or work with that, it's very hard to get even specific about anything else. So yeah, knowing we're beautiful and that everything is working exactly as it should. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, and it takes time. It takes time to grow. I really wish I would have known that too, because I just felt like there were all these milestones to hit, and it was never even about that. It
Yeah.
was about something so much more gentle and,
Yeah.
you know, so much more intentional.
Mm.
So I know you all probably have so many questions, because I could ask a million questions, but there's so much in the book that will give you a roadmap for building connection through these experiences. And so I am going to be giving one of the books away on my Instagram. And if you want the book so badly and for some reason you cannot afford it right now, or you just can't get it right now, you need to reach out to me, because I'm going to get it for you, because I have these copies that I'm telling you, I give this book out and I want to make sure that everybody gets this information, because it is so true and it is so real. And Alexandria, I am always learning from you and from what
Yes,
you're
please.
putting out into the world. I'm so grateful for what you're doing,
Thank
um,
you.
and excited to share this message and to share just really reawaken this thing that has just been just so oppressive for way too long.
Mm.
So I just want to thank everybody for listening. I will put all of the information where you can find. Why don't you tell us, Alexandria, what are you working on now? Where can everybody find you?
I'm putting together an ancestral healing class with my daughter, and I guess I'll have the website somewhere. And yeah, and we've got a class coming up that's like a book club for the book.
Oh, really? Tell us more about
that. Somebody's cutting down a tree. Oh my gosh. That's not going to stop. And this is why we do the work we do.
Oh no, you're frozen. Sorry, you were frozen for a minute.
It always comes. It's okay. I don't say anything. No. Yeah, I just went through each. I take forever to let things go for some reason. Forever. So I did this a long time ago, and I never put it out. Kind of like the book took a really long time to let go of. But I did for each chapter of the book, I just did a visual talk, like a video.
Oh, wow.
And I made a workbook to go with the book. So there's like downloadable sheets they can do, like worksheets, like fun drawings or exercises and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So just to make it more digestible, I really felt like it took me so long to heal so many of these things and to relearn and unlearn. And honestly, like moms, we just don't have the energy to be great at every single thing. Mm-hmm. You know, we're also different to begin with, and then to be parents and to be these educators of everything. So I thought it would be
Hello. Okay, I'm sorry. You cut out at the end, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to put in a little blurb at the end there about that, because that's brilliant. And that needs to be, we need to, or I would love to make sure people know about that, because I need that. I need those smaller pieces and ways to digest them as I go, and to kind of deepen it, a way to focus on a singular, part of it. So I think that's going to be really, really helpful. So is that in a place where people can access it right now, or will it be?
Pardon? You went slow too.
The workbook piece of it, is that live on your site?
It's part of the course.
Part of the course.
So it's going to be like, I think until we get it just purchasable by itself, it's just like a downloadable thing with the course. Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to.
Is it on your website?
We're trying to figure out web stuff. Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's on the website.
If you ever need any help on that, just let me know. If you ever get stuck. Sometimes it just takes one, like, do it this way. Honestly, like if you just need a quick, like, hey, how do you do this? Just message me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Otherwise, it's like bad to spin on that stuff forever,
I think that's what's happened. I'm just like, and then nothing happens, but it isn't because I'm not. It's just in here,
Oh yeah, like if you want to, like if you ever need help, just sort of like a quick technical fix, or I just need to get this up and do this, I can help with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I want to see this. I really mean it. This book. I mean, I couldn't believe that you existed.
That's really sweet. I felt the same about you. I was like, oh my God, I told my daughter, I was like, there's a Facebook group for wild schooling. Like, that means I don't have to tell them everything. Cause I was like, part of what took me so long to get this out was I was like, oh my God, I have to convince people there's trees. Like, I thought too much. Like, and now this, I was like, this is crazy. That means like they're learning. Like, what do you mean? This is insane.
Oh,
So amazing.
it's a great like little backbone, and then these pieces, ancestral healing, and
So good.
music, and all these things will be there'll be a place to attach all these things onto wild schooling, because as soon as as soon as I can start defining, like getting my thoughts out on paper more. But I am so excited for really the village building that is to come. And within
Yeah.
the village, there really
Um,
needs to be the healers and the musicians, and the poets, and that is a vision I have, and I'm excited to start connecting these people to where I feel like just rebuilding that village
oh, you're so on
energy.
it already. My God.
Oh,
Yeah.
just wait. As soon as
I'm
I
so
can,
ready. I'm here. As soon as you want to do anything, I'm just like on standby. 100%. What do you mean any
it's
day?
it's happening. Like this is it. Like I said, I've been so I'm not even going to get into all this, but like my own healing has taken a lot of precedence,
Yeah,
and so,
same.
because I can't do this authentically without going down into the
Yeah.
darkness and coming back up. I can't.
It's the same. I think we're all going through the same thing.
But when that emergence and that integration happens, like as more whole people, what we'll create from there will be the resonance will be so deep, and it'll be beautiful. So
Oh, I cannot wait. Oh my goodness. That
I'm really
sounds so exciting when you say it. Oh my God.
together.
Ah, the
Yeah,
feels.
it's going to be something that comes from that space of healing and holding. And we're all doing it together. Like when one person heals, we all heal.
Yeah, we're
It's
here. We're a big blob of
true.
humanity.
It is true. Like we are so connected, and we are never alone. We don't have to do this work alone. And I think about that every day. Definitely doing this together.
Thank you for the reminders.
Mhm. So thank you for doing this again. And I'm going to do a little editing. We're going to get this up, and we're going to keep on moving forward.
I'm I'm so thankful. I am. I just feel like I see how actually pivotal you are in this movement. I see.
Well, I'm really, really grateful you said that. I'm doing what I can, but it's really just getting our energies together, just getting us together, and we're that river, like we're that flowing river. We're stronger together. So um, you
Yeah.
have to let me know if you need a quick technical support system or question. Just like message me, and I
Yeah.
will help you get over these stupid humps. Just to get like you should not be fighting tech. So just let me know about that, because I
Yeah.
honestly like I can help with that. I have been through.
Okay.
If you knew the tech hell I've been through, you'd be like, why did you keep doing it? If I had had just somebody to be like, "No,
I can
here's how you do
imagine.
it. Here's how you get this up." So I want to help there
Yeah.
because I needed that help. And people have helped me too. People have come and been like, no, try this or use this. And it's really made a big difference. So
Yeah.
keep me posted.
Yeah.
I'm here if you need help.
I will do that.
For real.
I appreciate just the sentiment. I really do.
Yeah. Because
Just
I know I've been through all,
makes me
tech
feel
wise, I've been in the last 7 years, I've literally been through it all. It's a journey, it's a process too. Like you never really get to the other side of tech. It just is like another issue to solve. But if you have somebody who can help you just
yeah.
like, okay, put out that fire, solve that, you can feel like you get a little momentum
Yeah.
going.
Right. It just goes so fast too. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. I gotcha.
All right, well have a
Great.
wonderful night. I'm gonna keep you
So
posted
great.
on
Thank
I'm
you so
gonna get
much.
these things done, okay? I got a little one creeping.
Yeah. Yeah. Go for it.
This is, come here, Steph. This is Laura.
Hi.
Hi.
This is
Hi.
my wonderful friend and author, Alexandria. She wrote the book, The Moon in You. There she goes. Oh,
It's nice to
okay.
see you,
Thank
Laura.
you so much
It's
for
good
making
to
this.
talk to
I'm
you.
glad you're on the other side. I'm sending you healing vibes.
Thank you so much. Like, honestly, just
Yeah. Thank you. Love you.
love you
We'll
too.
talk soon. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Goodbye.